Hello and welcome to my channel. Want to find out about your own insecurities? Well, how about showing up at a machine shop with your mom's Kia? Yeah, well, that is exactly what I'm going to do today, repeatedly. My Subaru needs some repairs right now and I just stripped a bunch of parts of this donor car here. I will show you those repairs in another video. I'm telling you this so you understand that we will not be able to bring everything home today that we're buying here, but that will happen in 1 or 2 weeks. Today I am going on a trip through some of the parts of my country, Germany. My name is Gerolf, kinda similar to Gerald, and that's actually what my uncle is called. And most English speakers call me Gerolf, and that's just fine with me. On this channel I've been repurposing and repairing all kinds of equipment for the past 7 years, but I've actually been doing this kind of work for much longer than that. Lately a lot of it was found on scrapyards, but many of you don't have a great scrapyard around, so let me show you that there are other ways to get your hands on cool equipment. One way is to look for stuff online, talk to the owner and drive there. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. We'll visit 3 old workshops, places left behind by men who passed away and whose families have no use for grandpa's old stuff. In fact, it often takes the families years to go through the inheritance and even put any other tools online. The reason is that they often don't even know what the items they want to sell are called. The result? In some village, here or there is an old workshop in a Cinderella sleep, filled with antique treasures, in the best case, and that's where yours truly enters the scene. So what did I look for in my online search? Well, I restored this lathe here some years ago, which I also bought from a workshop like that, and I've been using it to make lots of replacement parts for other projects since then. But I want to upgrade to a bigger, more capable lathe, and I also want to show some really great restoration projects here on YouTube, and that's why I'm looking for machine tools, especially a lathe or two. And the first 2 places we're going to visit are in the region around the city of Düsseldorf, which is not that far from where I live. This map of Germany shows the different districts by population density. The darker the blue, the more people per land area. So as you can see, we are right in the middle of one of the most populous regions in Germany. And this here is the first lathe we're having a look at today. This workshop here has been converted to a tire replacement shop or something, and there isn't anything left of the old equipment but for this lathe. So what do we have here? Well, this lathe is very similar to the one I already own. First thing I noticed is that the tailstock spindle was pulled out all the way with the screw disengaged from the spindle. I instinctively want to pull it back in, but turning the handle really doesn't help here. I can't re-engage the screw because the spindle has been pushed too far out and is stuck in place. This cross slide is moving with ease, yet the screws are not sitting too loosely either. A good first sign. This type of machine is probably around 100 years old and was later converted to electric power. An induction motor with motor capacitor replaced either a foot pedal or line shaft, as you can see in this picture here. The owner also wants to show that it's operational, and it does indeed turn on without problems. From the first visual inspection, it's at least not wildly out of center. The cast iron support of the lathe has, however, been welded at some point. Maybe it was not always treated with care. This is a simple lathe. It has no lead screw or automatic feed of any kind. But if you encounter a lathe like this one for a good price, I can still recommend you buy it. I've been using mine for a few years now and have made many useful parts on it. One of the main advantages of this type of machine is that it can be easily disassembled and one guy can take it home in an ordinary car. No need for trucks, trailers or hoists. But as I said, I want a bigger lathe in addition to the one I already own. So I'll give this one a pass. So we leave this place and get back on the road. The next stop is an old metalworking shop that was established in the mid-1930s, so before the war. The original owners have passed away some years ago, and their heirs are selling off what is left of their grandparents' tools and machines. This shop was just a 15 minutes drive away in that same region. And there in the background some other pieces we're going to take a look at in just a minute. What I came for though is this lathe here. It has rust on the machine bed, the chuck and other spots. But this place here in itself is dry. These parts have simply not been properly greased or oiled in a very long time. I'm told this lathe hasn't been used since the mid-70s. This switch and fuse box was made by Siemens, but that would only be the manufacturer of some of the electric components that were added to this machine as an upgrade. The manufacturer of the lathe is unknown to me. Comment if you can tell, and better yet, send me an email if you recognize some of the manufacturers of the machines in this video. In the meantime, I have dusted the machine off a little bit and sifted through the cabinet. I found the old change gears and some chisels in there. This machine can be used for screw cutting. It has a lead screw, in German Leitspindel, but it has no feed rod, in German Zugspindel. You would better use the lead screw for screw cutting only and otherwise move the carriage with the hand crank. The cross slide and carriage move with ease. All internal parts seem to be properly greased, even though that grease might be really old. In the adjacent room we also find this ancient drill press. It is powered by an old Siemens Schuckert induction motor coupled to the press via a leather flat belt. Next to it, two gigantic vices around 55 kilograms each. And well, what can I say? The old lathe looked really rusty at first, but I carefully removed some of the rust and found it to be very superficial, with the underlying machine bed in overall good condition. Plus we're looking for a restoration object here, so I bought it. I also bought the vices, not because I need them, but because they are worth twice what I got them for, I guess. I then proceeded to dismantle the lathe into a handful of functional units: tailstock, carriage, motor, gears, bed, support, and so on. Having done this before, I was able to take it apart within 2 hours. With the help of one more person, I will be able to bring it home, and I hope that will happen in a week from now. I will cover the disassembling process in more detail in the eventual restoration video. For now, I was done here, and it was time to get back on the road. So it's time then to leave this region behind. As I mentioned before, I borrowed this car from my parents while my own car is getting some service done. I will also do my own additional repairs, but at the moment it's at a friend's workshop close to my parents, and they live in East Westphalia, which is a 2 to 3 hours drive to the east, taking the Autobahn. I grew up in the Paderborn district in a small town called Altenbeken. Many viewers from the UK probably know Paderborn because a relative or maybe themselves might have been stationed at the barracks there at some point. I send my best regards to the viewers from the UK. Maybe you know Paderborn? Please leave a comment below. I figured I might look for old tools there as well, and I did find what I was looking for: an hour's drive to the east in the Nordheim district, crossing over into the state of Lower Saxony. I was now inside a very low population density area. This region has many old beautiful timber frame houses, and a lot of them have, unfortunately, fallen into disrepair. I love getting around and being on these kinds of treasure hunts. But, well, who doesn't? By the way, if you're worried that I'm traveling around during the current crisis, rest assured that I met basically no one on this trip. At these workshops I was basically alone, and when someone else was near, I was always wearing a mask. And here is what I have been coming for. Another blast from the past. This lathe is longer than the other one. It has a lead screw and a feed rod and lots of open gears with no covers, and we might be able to do something about that later. The old workshop is super untidy, but Grandpa died 4 years ago and nobody really touched all this since then. There is little rust and also tons of additional equipment scattered all around the shop. There are also drawers and benches filled with additional tools that I might be interested in. So I bought the lathe, lock, stock and barrel. I also asked to sift through the rest of what can be found here, and the owners seem to be happy about that. So I will return in a few weeks. I will bring a trailer, lots of time, and at least one friend with me. You can look forward to an epic rescue mission. So this was my little treasure hunt. There's more than I could show in the video, and I have already brought some additional equipment home with me and started the restoration job in advance of the actual arrival of the lathe. Let me know if you're looking forward to this and if you liked this video. If yes, then please give it a like. If you want to support me in saving these tools and maybe showing you how you can do this as well, then please consider becoming a supporter on Patreon under patreon.com/tpai, or maybe make a donation via PayPal. Links for that are down in the video description. See you soon.